in the number of tiger reserves in the country, Ratapani Tiger Reserve gets government approval. Ratapani is India's 57th tiger reserve. UNCCD COP16 annual conference begins. Conference is being organized in Riyadh. Conference focuses on our land and our future. Central government takes a big step, launched nanobubble technology. Technology will be effective in the health of aquatic animals. A landmark bill introduced in the Australian Parliament. If the bill is passed, children under 16 years of age will be banned from using social media. Australia will be the first country in the world to make such a law. Global Outlook Report 2025 released. 343 million people are facing severe food insecurity. Concern has been raised about global hunger. So let's know the news in detail. Recently, NTCA has approved Madhav National Park of Madhya Pradesh as a tiger reserve. This park will now become the 9th tiger reserve of Madhya Pradesh. However, official information is yet to come from the state government because under Section 38, Subsection 5 of the Wildlife Protection Act 1972, the state government has to notify it on the recommendation of NTCA. Meanwhile, Ratapani Wildlife Sanctuary has also been approved as a tiger reserve. Let us tell you that Project Tiger is implemented for the conservation of tigers in India. This flagship program was launched on 1st April 1973 by the then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi for the conservation of tigers. Project Tiger was the largest program of its kind in the world, started for species conservation. In 1973, 9 tiger reserves were notified under Project Tiger. This include Bandipur, Corbett, Kanha, Manas, Melghat, Palamu, Ranthambore, Simlipal and Sundarban. To implement Project Tiger, NTCA has been formed under Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Thus, NTCA, that is National Tiger Conservation Authority, is a statutory body. For information, let us tell you that Madhav National Park is located in Shivpuri district of Madhya Pradesh. In 1958, it was given the status of National Park. This park is very unique with lake, grassland and forest ecosystem. 2 lakes, Sankhya Sagar and Madhav Sagar, are present in the southern part of this park, which are life-giving for aquatic biodiversity and terrestrial species. It is noteworthy that at present Bandhavgarh, Kanha, Panna, Pench, Sanjay Dubri, Virangana Durgavati and Satpura tiger reserves are present in Madhya Pradesh. Recently, the annual conference of UNCCD COP16 is being held in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. 197 countries are participating in this conference, held from 2nd December to 13th December. The theme of COP16 is Our Land and Our Future. It is noteworthy that this will be the largest United Nations land conference ever. Let us tell you that UNCCD is the short form of United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification. The objective of this conference is to accelerate investment and action to restore land and increase resilience to drought for the benefit of the community. For information, let us tell you that desertification is a type of land degradation. In this, fertile land gradually turns into a dry desert due to some natural events and human activities. According to the World Bank report released in the year 2021, without concrete action on climate and development, climate change may result in millions of people in North Africa being forced to migrate within their countries. Droughts have become more frequent and severe since 2000, with an increase of 29% due to climate change and unsustainable land management. At the Earth Summit in 1992, 3 global organizations were established: UNCCD, the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, and the Convention on Biological Diversity. These organizations work together under a joint approach to restore balance with nature. Recently, the red-breasted flycatcher bird was seen in Aminpur Lake in Hyderabad. This bird usually migrates from Eastern Europe to escape the harsh winters there, where it is believed that moderate temperatures and abundance of food in South Asia are favorable to it. Let us tell you that the length of red-breasted flycatcher is about 12 cm. Its scientific name is Pisidula parva. It is a small sparrow bird of the Old World flycatcher family, which is sometimes found eating figs, banyan or peepal. The color of male and female is different in them. The throat of the male is red-orange, which extends to the top, while the color of the female is completely brown. The bird breeds from spring to summer in the deciduous mixed forest of Eastern Europe and Central Asia. It migrates to the Indian subcontinent in the winter months. Its main food is insects and other invertebrates such as beetles and spiders, dragonflies, ants, and earthworms. For information, let us tell you that the red-breasted flycatcher is protected under least concern by the IUCN, that is International Union for Conservation of Nature. Recently, Union Minister launched nanobubble technology to promote the health of aquatic organisms. It is noteworthy that this technology can clean dirty pond water by removing the growth of algae and other similar biological elements. This technology will be used for 15 days as a trial in the National Zoological Park, Delhi. The goal of this technology is to keep the water clean so that the health and well-being of aquatic organisms can be ensured. This new technology will improve water quality and benefit animals. Let us tell you that in nanotechnology, substances are designed and controlled at the nanometer level. Nanotechnology can also improve the properties of matter at a very microscopic level. It helps in the production of new generation building materials such as nano-coated metals, carbon nanotubes and graphene. The use of this technology can bring revolutionary changes in energy storage, pollution control, manufacturing of medicines and other areas. It is noteworthy that nanotechnology can also be used in the treatment of serious diseases like cancer. Nanometer-sized particles help deliver medicines to targeted locations more effectively, thereby reducing the side effects of medicines and speeding up the treatment process. Recently, FSSAI has classified packaged drinking and mineral water as high-risk food. Actually, now these products will have to undergo special monitoring and inspection before being sold. Under this, these products will be compulsorily risk inspected and audited by a third party. This will determine the quality and safety of these products. Let us tell you that mandatory risk-based inspection is done for food products falling under the high-risk category. These include things like dairy, meat, fish, eggs, ready meals, Indian sweets and fortified rice. It is noteworthy that FSSAI has changed its policy and added packaged drinking water and mineral water to it. Under this, all centrally licensed manufacturers will have to get their business head audited annually. Its purpose will be to improve the safety and quality of these products for consumers. For information, let us tell you that FSSAI, that is Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, is an autonomous body. It has been established under the Food Safety and Standards Act 2006. Its nodal ministry is the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. It works to promote the protection of public health through regulation and supervision of food safety. It also sets standards and guidelines regarding food items, while it provides for license, registration and recognition for food business operators. Recently, new studies published in Nature magazine have challenged the laws of genetics. In fact, in traditional genetics, it was believed that only the DNA located in the nucleus of the cell is the main source of genetic information. But new research has revealed that extra chromosome DNA present in other parts of the cell can contribute to the progression of cancer and drug resistance. Let us tell you that ecDNA is a DNA that is found in other parts of the cell apart from traditional chromosomal DNA. ecDNA is present in about 40% of cancer cell lines and 90% of brain tumor samples. Talking about DNA, its full name is deoxyribonucleic acid. It is a type of genetic material which is found in the cells of all organisms. It is noteworthy that the genes that control the properties of organisms are found in DNA only. DNA is made up of chemical building blocks called nucleotides, which include phosphate, sugar, and nitrogen bases. A strand of DNA consists of a chain of nucleotides with phosphate and sugar groups alternating between them. The four types of nitrogen bases found in nucleotides are adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine. Recently, the Australian Parliament has introduced a historic bill which will ban the use of social media for children aged 16 years or less. This bill will become the first such law in the world which will set such age limit on social media platforms, keeping in mind the safety and mental health of children. This bill has been passed by the House of Representatives of Australia, and now it is with the Senate, where it is yet to be given final approval. It is noteworthy that the purpose of this law is to improve the mental health of children and adolescents, and also to protect them from dangerous activities on social media such as cyberbullying and online harassment. Concerns are being raised worldwide about the negative impact of social media on the mental health of children. Issues such as addiction habits, depression, and lack of self-esteem are increasing, especially on social media. Let us tell you that this step of Australia is a strong initiative for the safety of children. After this bill is passed by the Senate, It will become a source of inspiration for other countries who want to take similar strict steps for the safety of their youth. This law is an indication of giving priority to the safety of children in the digital age. Recently, India's Pragati initiative has received praise among thinkers and policymakers from around the world at Oxford University. Professor James Kane of Oxford University considered the Pragati initiative as a model for other countries and called it an excellent example of governance. Let us tell you that Pragati is the short form of proactive governance and timely implementation. This initiative was started by Prime Minister Modi in 2015. The objective of this initiative is to increase the speed of implementation of government schemes and implement them with transparency. Under this initiative, review meetings are held every month with ministries and state governments at a high level so that the status of ongoing schemes can be evaluated and problems can be resolved in a timely manner. It is worth noting that Oxford University also said that the Pragati initiative has not only accelerated government schemes, but it has also promoted transparency and accountability in government work. Also, this initiative has helped in reducing corruption and faster implementation of decisions. This initiative can become an inspiration for countries around the world where governance reform is needed. Recently, Union Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia announced the Ashtalakshmi Mahotsav in Assam. The purpose of this festival is to promote the role of Northeast region in the development of India. Let us tell you that the Ashtalakshmi Mahotsav will be organized in Jorhat, Assam. This festival will especially showcase the culture, art and tourism sectors of the northeastern states, which will strengthen the identity of the region at the national and international level. It is worth mentioning that the goal of this festival is to promote the cultural heritage of Northeast India as well as generate employment opportunities here. It is noteworthy that the Northeast region of India is a group of 8 states, which include Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim and Tripura. These states are located in the northeastern region of India and are extremely diverse politically, culturally, and geographically. Northeast India is characterized by its rich cultural heritage, multilingual society, and diverse tribal communities. Many tribes like Bodo, Naga, Garo, Mizo, and Khasi reside here. This region forms the international border of the country with Bhutan, Myanmar, and China. Therefore, the role of these states becomes very important from the strategic point of view also. Recently, the World Food Programme has released the Global Outlook Report 2025. This report provides current information regarding global food security. It also emphasizes on the solutions suggested by WFP to face food crisis and deal with the root causes of hunger. According to this report, about 343 million people in 74 countries are facing severe food insecurity. Out of these, 1.9 million people are on the verge of starvation. Armed violence in famine-hit areas like Sudan, Gaza, etc. is considered to be the main reason for this, while food inflation, extreme weather events, etc. are among its other factors. In such a situation, if the statistics are to be believed, about 65% of the people live in conflict-affected areas where they have to face severe food insecurity. At the same time, the report talks about the need of $6.9 billion for WFP to provide assistance to the world's most vulnerable 123 million people. This assistance will be given in those countries which are facing problems due to poverty, war, or natural disasters. Let us tell you that 1/4 of the malnourished people around the world live in India. Apart from this, 38% of children between 6 and 59 months are victims of severe malnutrition. WFP has talked about many long-term solutions to deal with hunger. These include promoting local nutritious food options, food fortification, and investment in social security. For information, let us tell you that the World Food Programme is an agency of the United Nations dedicated to eliminating hunger, achieving food security, and improving nutrition by 2030. It focuses on assistance in emergency relief, development, and social operations. That's all for now in this bulletin. After the news, let's take a quick look at 5 questions related to the bulletin. First question. Consider the following statements regarding Madhav National Park. 1. This park is located in Shivpuri district of Madhya Pradesh. 2. It was given the status of National Park in 1959. 3. Recently, the NTCA has approved the park as a tiger reserve. How many of the above statements are correct? Only 1, only 2, all 3, or none of these? Second question. Consider the following statements regarding red-breasted flycatcher. 1. It is a small sparrow-sized bird from the Old World flycatcher family. 2. Its scientific name is Phacedola parva. 3. It is listed as least concern by the IUCN. How many of the above statements are correct? Only one, only two, all three, or none of these? Third question. Consider the following statements regarding FSSAI. 1. It is an autonomous body. 2. It was established under the Food Safety and Standards Act 2008. 3. Its nodal ministry is the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. How many of the above statements are correct? Only one, only two, all three, or none of these? Fourth question. Consider the following statements regarding Ashtalakshmi Mahotsav. 1. It will be organized in Jorhat, Assam. 2. Its objective is to promote the role of the northeastern region in India's development. 3. Its announcement was made by the Ministry of Civil Aviation. How many of the above statements are correct? Only one, only two, all three, or none of these? Fifth question. Consider the following statements regarding deoxyribonucleic acid. 1. It is a type of genetic material. 2. It is made up of nucleotides. And 3. It contains deoxyribose sugar. How many of the above statements are correct? Only one, only two, all three, or none of these? Recently, Uber has launched Asia's first water transport service, Uber Shikara, on Kashmir's famous Dal Lake. This initiative is aimed at bringing a revolutionary change in the tourist experience. It combines Uber's technology and Kashmir's traditional Shikara boats. With this innovative initiative, tourists will now be able to enjoy a pre-booked Shikara ride through Uber's ride-hailing app. The service is currently partnering with 7 local Shikara operators. These Shikaras are located in Nehru Park, a beautiful island in the middle of Dal Lake. Recently, a 2-day Mahabodhi festival was organized. It was organized at the Sanchi Stupa in Madhya Pradesh. Let us tell you that the Great Stupa of Sanchi is a Buddhist monument that usually houses the sacred relics of Buddha or other saints. It was built in the 3rd century BC by Emperor Ashoka of the Maurya dynasty, who adopted Buddhism after the Kalinga War. It was built to house the relics of Buddha and serve as a center of Buddhist worship. It is worth noting that this stupa is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and is also a pilgrimage site for Buddhists around the world. Recently, Nagaland State Day was celebrated. Let us tell you that the state of Nagaland was formed on 1st December 1963 as the 16th state of India. Since then, this day is celebrated every year as Nagaland State Day. This state is one of the 7 sister states. It is bordered by Assam in the west, Myanmar in the east, Arunachal Pradesh and parts of Assam in the north and Manipur in the south. Its official language is English. It is noteworthy that the Hornbill Festival is the main cultural festival of Nagaland. It is celebrated every year between 1st and 10th December. This festival showcases the culture, traditional music, dance, art, and crafts of various tribes of Nagaland. The festival is named after the hornbill bird, which is the state bird of Nagaland. Recently, the joint tabletop exercise, Sinbax, started between the Indian Army and the Cambodian Army. Let us tell you that this exercise will be held in Pune from 1st to 8th December 2024. It is worth mentioning that this is the first edition of this joint exercise. This exercise will include 20 soldiers from the Cambodian Army contingent and 20 soldiers from the Infantry Brigade from the Indian Army contingent. It is noteworthy that the exercise Sinbax is a planning exercise aimed at conducting combat exercises of joint counter-terrorism operations under Chapter 7th of the United Nations Charter. Recently, World AIDS Day was organized on 1st December. On this day, the Government of India shared its remarkable achievement and said that the country has recorded a 44% decline in cases of HIV infection in the last 13 years. Let us tell you that AIDS is a life-threatening condition caused by the human immunodeficiency virus. This virus weakens the body's immunity, making a person prone to various infections and diseases. HIV infection spreads through blood, intercourse, and infected needles. It is worth mentioning that ELISA test is done to check HIV. Recently, the joint military exercise Agni Warrior 2024 was organized between the Indian Army and the Singapore Armed Forces. Let us tell you that this was the 13th edition of this exercise, which was held in Deolali, Maharashtra from 28th to 30th November 2024. This 3-day exercise included 182 soldiers of the Singapore Artillery and 114 personnel of the Artillery Regiment of the Indian Army. It is noteworthy that the aim of this exercise was to increase mutual understanding of exercises and procedures to achieve solidarity as a multinational force under the United Nations Charter. International Cheetah Day was celebrated on 4th December recently. Let us tell you that the purpose of this day is to raise awareness about the urgent need to save cheetahs from extinction. Cheetahs are mainly found in the open grasslands of sub-Saharan Africa, where they hunt small animals like antelopes, wild animal calves, rabbits, and birds. It is noteworthy that cheetahs were brought from South Africa and Namibia in the year 2022 to rehabilitate cheetahs in India. Kuno National Park in India has been selected as the habitat of these cheetahs. Recently, 1.45 crore registrations were done under PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana, and also 6.34 lakh solar panels have been installed. Let us tell you that this scheme was started in February 2024. The purpose of this scheme is to provide free electricity to homes in India. Under this scheme, subsidy will be provided to the houses for installing solar panels on their roofs. Under this, a target has been set to install 1 crore solar panel plants by the financial year 2027. At the same time, it is estimated that this scheme will save the government Rs 75,000 crore in electricity cost per year. That's all in today's episode. Thanks for watching.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.